No, absolutely. First, let me acknowledge that obviously these are, challenging times, and we're so respectful and appreciative of all the work that everybody in the communities are doing to support all of us through that, be it first responders, those in the health medical field, and the teams across Lululemon around the globe. We've used three guiding principles since we first started having to deal with the store closings to guide us through. And the first is we wanted to make sure that we always continue to support our people. Second was to strike the right balance between both short-term and long-term decisions. And the third is we're in a position where we can and will continue to invest in our future. And on supporting our people and our teams, the announcement, the decision today to extend pay for every employee, part-time and full-time, around the globe through to June 1st, regardless if we remain closed or we're able to open when it's safe to do so, is really living into that principle and ensuring that they can have peace of mind and certainty in these uncertain times. And it was the right thing that we felt we could do and wanted to do.
Yeah, no question. It's good to see companies like yours doing this. I think also part of the announcement is that you're going to temporarily pause the share buyback program. I mean, so many retailers have sort of tapped into credit lines. I don't think you guys have any debt, but just bring us up to speed on how you're thinking about cash and capital allocation in light of all of these store closures.
We ended the year with over $1 billion in cash, $1.1 billion in cash. We have a $400 million revolver that has not been drawn, with no plans to draw on it, and no debt. So financially, from a balance sheet perspective, we are in very good standing, in a position, as I said, to support our teams through this, think long term, and continue to invest and innovate and look for growth opportunities. That's not to say we're not making the right decisions in the short term, and rebalance our priorities, rebalance our expense management. But it does allow us to not just obsess on the short term, but to think about when we recover, when we come out, when we open the stores, how do we do that and emerge even stronger? And that's the balance we're doing, and how we're thinking about supporting the teams.
I am wearing sweatpants and leggings all day. I have to imagine so many other people working from home are. What are you seeing in terms of online sales trends right now with all the stores in U.S. and Europe closed?
Our online business, which was incredibly healthy for us all of last year, we announced, had an earnings call a week ago and shared very strong numbers in 2019. Quarter four was our strongest quarter of the year. Very strong comps in our stores and our digital business, which was up 41% year over year. And we've seen that momentum continue into this year, and with the store closings accelerate. And we have seen a shift. All businesses categories are doing well, but there's definitely a shift to comfortable clothing, and as well as at-home accessories, from our yoga mats to our blocks to a variety of those items that are helping support people find new ways to sweat.
You sort of went through this experience already in China, and actually, like Nike on your last earnings call, said you learned a lot. You sort of had a playbook. What is the status of the stores in China? Are they all open? Has business come back? And what have you learned from that you can apply now to the U.S. and Europe?
All our stores now in China are open. We opened our last one in Wuhan just this week. I think we've learned a variety of things. One, how the guest will respond. Now in China, the stores were closed for 2 weeks, majority of them. We've had a few that stayed closed for a longer period of time, but in general, it was a 2-week close down, and then the stores opened. And then what we saw each day, each week, they progressively gained momentum and got stronger. We're still not yet at the point where we were prior to the closing, but we know each week the business gets stronger and the guests sort of resume some degree of normalcy through the week and on weekends. We've been able to apply that, plus how the teams worked, which is equally important because, you shut down, the stores, and we shut down our SSC, our store support center, where all our head office employees work. Work still needs to get done, and how teams interact and how we continue to innovate and plan forward to the business. We equally were able to pull some of those quick initiatives as some of the innovative ideas they had around digital sweat. So we've been able to pull not just how we think our business will rebound, but how we work as a team, how we continue to drive the business forward and make investments in our future, and some of the innovative ideas and what responded best with the guest.
Calvin, it's good to hear that the online sales are holding up relatively well, certainly compared to having to shut all of your stores. Does that give you hope that the consumer here in the US, or certainly your type of consumer at least, is kind of ready to bounce back quite quickly in more of a V shape as and when the economy opens up a bit and the restrictions relax?
I think there will be a couple of differences when I look at the China business to our North American business. As I mentioned, China was closed for 2 weeks, and then a slow, opening and getting back to a degree of momentum. In the U.S. and in Canada, we're going to be closed for a much longer period of time. That will create a much more pent-up demand for our product. And equally, I think when we do open, the guest will get back to sort of their normal behaviors quicker. So I do anticipate a quicker return in North America. That's not to say immediately we will get back to the momentum we had coming into the pre-closing, but I do anticipate our business to rebound quicker. And equally, I think that the importance of our category, sweat, and the role that we play in that is going to be as important once we reopen as it was before. And we're going to see the guests continue to want to live the sweat life, continue to want to wear a product that is solving their sweaty needs. And we think we're well positioned that when we do reopen our stores, that we will see a healthy a momentum shift in our business. And that's why we're continuing to invest in that future and that vision that we have.
I guess there are always sweaty needs, to borrow what you said, Calvin. but across retail, there's so much pain right now. The department stores with their furloughs and Gaps and so many other retailers. I'm wondering how you think brick and mortar is going to look when this is all said and done. I mean, you think there's momentum back in your business, and you've obviously got a strong brand and a lot of momentum, but the industry in general, how does that look?
I think the length of the closing is going to be a big determining factor of how retail will look coming out. We're fortunate that we are able to weather the storm and the length of closings. We're fortunate that we're able to invest in our teams and we're able to continue to pay our employees. We've spent years developing, our most important asset, which is our educators and the talent around the globe, and our ability to continue to pay. And in fact, we're continuing to develop them and lean in on online development courses for our employees around the globe during this period of shutdown. So our ability to do that and equally continue to invest in the future is why we're well positioned. But for other retailers, weathering that storm is going to drain resources that might have been limited already and prevent their ability to, one, bring back some of that talent, to invest in the things that they need to compete in the new reality of retail, which is how you invest in digital and connect it to your physical your space. What we're seeing with guests is their behaviors are changing. I think that's good. More are going online, and an omni guest is the best guest for any retailer. And once we open, those are going to be behaviors that are ingrained and will stay. It's which retailers will have the investment to be able to create the initiatives to fully support and take advantage of those behavioral changes. I think will be what separates those that are able to weather the storm and those that are, it's going to drain a lot of the resources and make the recovery more challenging for them.
Finally, Calvin, are you receiving any concessions or breaks from landlords, especially in malls that are closed?
We view a number of our partnerships across our community. Our ambassadors are a big part of our community, and we've launched a $2 million relief fund to support independent studio owners around the globe with a $2 million fund that we're working through now and quickly providing grants to help support them. Equally, our landlords are partners of ours, we paid our April rent, and we're in discussions with them as these closings extend and find the right balance for both of us. But we view them as a very important partner in our success and the success of our stores and our future. And we're in discussions with them to find the right balance of the current situation for both of us.
Calvin McDonald, thank you so much for joining us to talk through some of these issues and your new announcements, especially that commitment to pay your employees through June 1st. The CEO of Lululemon.